It gave us a chance to move our mission, that every blessed child has access, has opportunity, that every student in every zip code has a great public school. This is the DNA of the NEA. It's what defines us. That we have not reached our mission is what drives us. It unites us. It inspires us to do whatever it takes to move forward. The fight for equal respect and equal access and equal opportunity is part of our union's history. And today, we are going to celebrate that history. No other RA will celebrate the 50th anniversary of our most important merger. If you know anything about history, you know that it's a story of heroes. And heroes are people who stood tall in dark and dangerous times. Throughout the history of humanity, those who wanted to keep a segment of the population in their place used education as their weapon. Women weren't allowed to go to universities. It was against the law to teach enslaved people to read. The dark days of legal segregation in our own country required heroes who stood tall against institutional racism. 50 years ago, segregated school systems had segregated teachers' associations. Black teachers in many states belonged to the premier organization representing African American educators, the American Teachers Association, the ATA. White teachers in many states belonged to the National Education Association. 50 years ago, heroes and visionaries in both of those great organizations decided to integrate our associations and merge. 50 years ago, that merger defined and focused our mission, that education was part of the social justice movement. But even before that merger, the NEA and the ATA had worked together as advocates for education of Black children as far back as 1926. That's the year that we formed a joint committee to focus on the evaluation and the accreditation of Black schools. By the time the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, the Joint Committee had then spent almost 4 decades fighting gross inequities in the treatment of Black school children and Black educators. The NEA established a $1 million fund to protect and promote the professional, civil, and human rights of all educators. When school districts in 17 states used court-ordered segregation as an excuse to dismiss hundreds and hundreds of Black teachers. In 1966, after years of collaboration, cooperation, negotiation, NEA and the ATA merged in a ceremony that was held at our representative assembly in Miami, Florida. Today, we celebrate the enduring legacy of this landmark decision. This merger paved the way for more diversity in our leadership, and it paved the way for heroes like Mary Hatwood Futrell and Reg Weaver, who are here with us today. It paved the way for staff to take a leadership role around social justice work, as our NEA Executive Director John Stocks will represent and who is with us today. Prior to merger, there were 17 states with separate associations for white educators and Black educators. 6 of those states combined their state associations before the official NEA-ATA merger. If you are from one of those delegations, I want you to stand as the representatives of those fine heroes who merged before the national. Delaware, Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, Oklahoma, and West Virginia. Virginia. Give it up for those states. And in the other 11 states with separate organizations, achieving merger was fought. And it took incredibly strong leadership. Fortunately, we had that strong leadership. And in those states, I would ask you to stand and be proud of the legacy that you represent. Please stand. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. You should know and you should honor your history. The merger of these two great associations was important, but not just for us. It was important for the United States of America. Remember, this was a time when, yes, we had outlawed legal segregation as a moral principle, but we all know that it was still practiced in many, many ways across our country. By merging our two associations, ATA and NEA, we made that strong statement to the nation that it was time to join together. It was time to move forward. Nothing of this magnitude is going to happen easily, especially where you have strong resistance to anything that was going to change tradition. There are people who will always want to cling to the past. But our merger succeeded in focusing us on a future because of the leadership of those two associations and their affiliates. And that included governance and staff. At this time, I want to recognize some heroes and sheroes that formed this merger, that made it succeed. They are why we are who we are. Eloise Sykes. I want cameras over there, over there, over there. Eloise Sykes, please give it up. Right here, yes, thank you, thank you. No, right here, we're gonna have a whole line. Yes. Earl Jones. Leon Felix, Jean Dreyer, Dr. Al Tony Gilmore, Bob Channon, former NEA Executive Director Don Cameron accepting for Jimmy Williams, former NEA Southeast Regional Director, Carol Martin Hadley accepting for her father, Dr. R.J. Martin, 1966 ATA President. Martha Batchelder accepting for her husband, the late Richard Batchelder, 1966 NEA President. Lois Edinger, NEA President, 1965. George Fisher, NEA President, 1969 to 1970. Dr. Joe Reed, Executive Director of Alabama ATA Affiliate. Dr. Reed is also representing the late Dr. Paul Hubbard. Dr. E.B. Palmer, Executive Director of North Carolina's ATA Affiliate. And Dr. John Lucas, creator of the Lucas model that merged North Carolina and subsequently all southern states. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the history that makes us who we are today. The merger agreement placed several members of the ATA on the NEA Board of Directors. My friend Dr. Lucas is the last remaining honorary member of the NEA Board of Directors based on that 1966 agreement. He still serves. And at this time, I would like to hear a reflection from Dr. Lucas. I'm going to ask our guests to take their seats so they'll be comfortable, because after Dr. Lucas speaks, we will hear from a group of students from the local public schools in this area. Those students will perform a short skit that highlights some of our history since that merger, and I think you are going to enjoy it. So while our guests take their seats, I will ask you to give your most honored welcome to Dr. John Lucas, the final member of the ATA merger who serves on your NEA Board of Directors.
My friends, my special guest today is my daughter, Cheryl Janice Lucas, whose birth, to the best of my knowledge, desegregated the hospitals in our state. Would Cheryl stand? According to our heritage calendar this year, I was celebrated in the month of June. And it says, John Harding Lucas' dedication to equality has profoundly impacted educational systems in North Carolina and worldwide. As the author of what was called the Lucas Concept, which was instrumental in building an inclusive organization, was born in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. He's the son of a minister and a teacher, was a student in a segregated school system, graduating from the Booker T. Washington High School, after which he enrolled in Shaw University to earn a degree in chemistry. He taught science and coached the Aiken High School in Kinston before enlisting in the United States Army in 1944 and returning to North Carolina in 1946, after service in the Asiatic Pacific Theater of Operations, Lucas resumed his teaching career and pursued a master's degree in school administration from North Carolina Central University. In 1962, Lucas was named principal of the Durham's Hillside High School, a post he held for 24 years. While at Hillside, he became a teacher and leader in the merger of the White North Carolina Education Association and the All Black North Carolina Teachers Association. Originally, discussion centered on folding the black organization into the white one. Lucas proposed to treat both groups equally by creating new organizations, which resulted in 1970 in the formation of the North Carolina Association of Educators, which he served as president of in 1974 and 75. And the North Carolina Association of Educators has also honored him as a lifetime board member and honorary director. Today, the Lucas Middle School in Durham, North Carolina, and the John H. Lucas Senior Wellness Center at Hillside High School are named in his honor. Now, in his mid-90s, and this is my 96th year, he continues to be an active member and leader at the White Rock Baptist Church, as well as on numerous boards. So greetings to everyone, because within each of us, there is a spirit above us which seeks love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control when we live by faith and in prayer. Congratulations to the National Educational Association for this celebration of unity, NEA-ATA merger, 50th anniversary celebration. According to Allen M. West and the National Educational Association, the power base for education, 1980, the Lucas concept was utilized in the naming of state affiliates. Love is eternal.
I will stand decades since the NEA-ATA merger.
When the American Teachers Association and the National Education Association joined forces in 1966, they took a stand for equality, opportunity, and social justice. Since then, NEA has continued to stand up for students and teachers and for the justice in the world.
I will stand for voting rights for all. In 1965, a year before the two groups merged, ATA and NEA sent leaders and staff to Selma, Alabama to help organize a voter registration drive for black teachers under the slogan, "Fit to teach, fit to vote." That campaign sparked other voter registration efforts and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous March to Selma.
I will stand for workers' rights. In the 1970s, NEA established task forces to investigate widespread dismissals and demotions of black educators in the wake of court-ordered desegregation. NEA also won a landmark Supreme Court case that banned the mandatory firing of teachers because they were pregnant, a practice that had previously been common.
I will stand for justice and freedom. In 1985, more than 2,000 delegates from the NEA-RA, led by President Mary Hatwood Futrell, marched to the South African embassy to protest that country's apartheid policies. Many of the educators were arrested, and the protest was one of the largest in an ongoing series of demonstrations at the embassy.
I will stand for equality of all people. In the 1990s, the NEA began to train members and leaders to meet the needs of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender students and school employees. In 1995, the RA adopted 2 resolutions supporting efforts to raise awareness and sensitivity of issues of sexual orientation.
I will stand for equity in education. NEA in 2006 adopted a new vision statement, a great public school for every child. It is this vision that drives NEA's work today to achieve equity for all students, Latino, Black, Asian, Pacific Islander, American Indian, and white. NEA also helped to elect our nation's first Black president, Barack Obama.
I will stand for families and children. Today, NEA continues to be a powerful advocate for policies that protect families, including an immigration policy that won't separate children from their parents, combating institutional racism in our public schools, equal pay for women, and affordable college. And we're working to implement the Every Student Succeeds Act so all students will have the opportunities to achieve their dreams.
Give it up for our students. After the signing of that merger agreement in 1966, the delegates watching it spontaneously broke into singing the Battle Hymn of the Republic. At this time, I would like to introduce Jackie Watts Gradington of New Jersey, chairman of the NEA Black Caucus and a music educator. She will lead us in singing and be accompanied by Dr. Don Nicole, Carla Hines, Mavis Ellis, Gary Melton, Dolores Rome Hudson, Dr. Deborah Jackson, Dr. James Fetterman, and Dr. Tony McNair. Please join in and sing. Rise up and let your voices rise with you. On your feet, delegates, let's listen up.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and dance. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and glaring lamp. His days marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. They have been in the seat of men before the judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet, for